Hi, I'm Cynthia Crowfoot. I am an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a producer, and I have the distinct pleasure of being the host for this year's Oakville Film Festival, our 10th year. Yay, us. Today, we're going to interview Yoni Collins, the director, writer, and producer and editor, I believe, of Lanterns Flicker. But first, what I want to bring to your attention is the Audience Choice Awards, sponsored by Expedia Cruises Oakville and Celestial Cruises. The Audience Choice Awards is your opportunity to vote for the films that you think were outstanding at this year's festival. And each time you vote for a film, your name is put into a draw. And the draw is for a 1-week cruise worth 10,000 Canadian dollars from Athens, Greece, through the Mediterranean. Now, the only thing about this is that the flight to Athens is not included, so you would have to get yourself there. But once you're there, it's for 2 people, 1 week, cruising around, having a gay old time. So make sure that you vote for the films that you think are worthy or impacted you or that you just really, really liked. Okay, Yoni, hi, welcome.
Hey, thanks. Be here.
You're I watched your film. I very much liked it. It was a big change from the film I watched by you from last year's film festival, which was Send Pick, correct?
Yes, I was
Yes.
producer on Senpic.
Okay, so this year you and was I correct? You wrote, directed, edited, and produced
Yeah.
Lanterns Flicker. So what drew you to this film? Because it's a very important message that's being sent in this film.
Yeah, so kind of background of it. I served in the army as well. Different army. I served in the Israeli army. So Dennis and I really connected over that. And I'm a musician as well. I come from a music background, and yeah, we just really, really clicked. I saw Dennis's story on the news on Remembrance Day in 2021 and reached out to him right after that. I was in the middle of filming another documentary, which will come out after this one. And we really just connected, and I connected a lot to his album and his music and his story. And just, I really think the message of military mental health and veteran suicide is not represented correctly, and people just aren't aware of it. And that's really our mission with this and my mission with this film.
To bring awareness to this. And I think that all suicide should be recognized in mental illness, but I think that, and it's touched on in the documentary, the bravado of an army sometimes precludes vulnerability. And this, I'm thinking a lot of individuals in the army feel that asking for help or needing help appears vulnerable.
Definitely agree with that. And I think it was different from where I come from, because everyone does the army. And here, I think people are just alone because you don't really know other people doing it or going through it. And yeah, I think they just don't really know, one ever knows what you're going into. And Dennis obviously experienced a lot in Afghanistan. And I think the military in general is just a very tough-minded place. And that's definitely part of it. Yeah.
Now, so I'm gonna your relationship with Dennis is continuing post filming, I'm sure. Are you hoping that this will not only shed light to the public in general, but also put a spotlight sort of on military mentality? Like these people that we asked to go defend us, this was also alluded to in your documentary. We ask them to go defend us, and then when they come back, we kind of wipe our hands of it and say, well, on you go. And are you getting support from a military perspective, or is this still something that they don't want to actually look at?
We made this to kind of force them to look at it. I'm hoping that there is a change with this film, and we're hoping that we can impact people at a recruitment level, or even in a training level, and just get this film seen by the right people who can make those changes. Yeah, that's definitely the goal with it. It's to change it and to honor those who fell before from this, because they're definitely, we mentioned in the film, they're not included in Remembrance Day ceremonies, but they served the same way and fought the same way and died from the same wars, but in a different way.
They had a different wound.
Mhm.
Um, I liked that because I didn't know that. I didn't realize that we were excluding people who did something that was amazing. And I didn't realize that. That actually hit me quite deeply. So um what was the best thing that came out of this documentary for you on a personal level?
On a personal level, it made me a lot more aware of my own mental health, actually, working with Dennis. So I'm definitely, definitely on that level, but we're also trying really just to get this information out there. Like, I think making the film for me was very cathartic, and being able to use music through it was definitely an interesting way, because I've always been interested in this kind of story, but I don't think the public would have approached it if it didn't have a approachable method. So that was kind of how the music let people understand it deeper. So I'm happy that
Yeah.
Dennis came up with that way of doing it, and that was really good for me to work with.
I think that's actually really important because we turn to music. I know I turn to music to when to either intensify the feelings that I'm having or to help me get through the feelings that I'm having. And I really liked, because that's something that everybody can relate to. If you can't relate to the army, if you can't relate to war, if you can't relate to struggling mentally, you can relate to music and the message that's being sent through that medium. And I really liked that. And I thought his music was lovely. I really enjoyed that. Um, so outside of the festival circuit, are you planning on using this film in another capacity to help get the message out there?
Yeah, so we just signed with a educational distribution company. So I really want to try and get this film into schools on Remembrance Day. That's the goal. Remembrance Day and Mental Health Awareness Day, Mental Health Awareness Month. So those kind of times, and then Dennis and I are just really trying to make a difference with it wherever we can. We're hoping that we can get some people in the military to see it, people struggling to see it, and that's definitely our goal with this film.
Did did Dennis share with you the impact this film had on him? Like, was it cathartic for him?
Yes, it definitely was. I was actually just talking to him about this a few days ago, once we premiered it, and yeah, he really enjoyed the experience. He didn't know what he was getting into. Um, it's a film thing, and coming from the army, it's a very different world that I've experienced as well, and it was just a really, really good relationship and a good connection. I think that's what made the film. We just really, really bonded over the 4 or 5 days that we were shooting it, and more than we expected. And I think it showed throughout that. And we're going to continue working together probably on other films as well, and other music as well. And we really want to make a longer version of this film. I think we're planning a feature documentary together. And Dennis is connecting me with other veterans as well that we can try and use to raise awareness of that.
That's amazing, Yoni. I really enjoyed this film. I have to say it, and I enjoyed it because it was done well, but I also enjoyed it because it brought to light something that I wasn't aware of, and I always like when that happens. So I want to thank you for spending some time with me and answering a few questions. Is there any last comments that you have before I let you go on with your day?
No, I think we covered everything. I'm excited for people to see it.
I am too. I think that now is actually a really great time for something like this to come out because there is a spotlight on mental health in general, and I think that this is a niche of that needs its own spotlight. So, thank you very much. Again, audience, vote for your Audience Choice Award. This was Lanterns Flicker by Yoni Collins, and I look forward to seeing what's next from you, Yoni. Thank you so much.
Thank you.